Hey, one bait change. One bait change. Baby. Beer run. First cast with the bait change and you're on. You gotta love that. Alright, let me get the BUZBE bag out of the way. Man, I love it when a plan comes together.
That is like one of the brightest blue I've seen in a long time on the tail.
Nice. Well done.
That's pretty. You want him to say you see that?
Sure, why not? Why not do a little publicity? All right, I'm gonna get a quick shot. Welcome back to the channel, FlatsClass YouTube fans. As you saw in the opening clip, we were fishing water so clear, and I mean, it was like bonefish clear. And the bottom, pure sand with a little bit of rock. So tough conditions to fool redfish, especially when you have a large group of redfish. You've got all those eyeballs watching what your lure is doing. So what was the go-to bait? Well, as you saw, it was beer run. Now I'm gonna explain to you why here in a minute, but I'm gonna send you back to the action. I'm gonna go inside and we'll talk about this a little bit at my desk, but go enjoy watching Mark catch another nice redfish here, and we'll be right back. Well done. Woo! Man, I love when a plan comes together. When you hook them that far away, I mean, because you're literally making, I mean, casts that are a good 200 foot. That's a 200-foot cast. Yeah, I can see your fish. He's bigger.
Yeah,
he's definitely a bigger fish. You cut him from the herd now, though, which is a good thing. I'm gonna slowly get down so I can be part of your catch here. You're well balanced. Well, you and I are doing a whole lot better than we were. I mean, you can definitely tell the salooner is on. We got the right bait.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely.
Yeah.
I think he was caught under his fin for a second there too. That's what it was. He just turned over and it came off. He had it tucked under his pec.
What a beautiful fish.
Yeah, Jeff used to crack up with me about how hard I yank on him.
That was a necessary hooks that far away. I'm not gonna be mad at you for coming out of your boots. I mean, because you needed to. You were not gonna be able to. Is that rod is more of a parabolic rod. You know, it's more of a trout rod. This fish is gonna be over slot, I guarantee you.
They got their tails are so lit up, man. It's so cool. See, this is where I say I like.
Yep, it's going to help you.
It's like having a longer arm or something.
You got to come down the cockpit, yeah. I told you he was oversized. Get to catch fish big enough to make you do this. Oh, this is the one you want.
That is a stud.
Dude, this is gonna.
That's a meatball.
This is gonna be one of your bigger redfish. Reel down, reel down. Get close to him. There you go.
That's a meatball.
Oh yeah. Look how light and silver they are. That fish is
like
way oversized. Another beer run fish. Another beer run fish.
Meatball.
Meatball. Let's let him go on that side. What a beautiful fish. That's what we came here for. Well, I've got to say, Mark was one of my most interesting clients in the last, I'm going to say, year. We spent a lot of time on the boat, and I know I'm going to get sidetracked here for a second, but in his younger days, this guy, I know, don't judge a book by his cover, but in his younger days, he used to climb up a ladder about that wide to an 80-foot perch and dive into a tank that was 21 feet across that had 7.5 feet of water in it. Yeah. A circus act, if you will. Yeah, back in the day, that's who Mark was. Now Mark works for a big window company, and he's he's less at risk, but he loves to fish, long caster. And as you could see by our surroundings there, we were on a huge sand flat that had these broken rock zones in it, if you will. And the fish were just kind of schooling and pooling up out there. We were fishing very low water, and it was right at the bottom, and it started to come in, and we were hitting a solunar period on a tide change, which is always really good. So we had tried, prior to the first clip, we had tried a couple of different colors and Ned rigs and things like that to try to get them to eat. But I think we were moving them too much or whatnot, but they wouldn't go for it. So when I'm challenged, or my clients are challenged with very clear water. Now, there was a group of fish out there that was probably 100 plus strong or better. And they had broke into 2 pods from our casting. So I backed off them, let them, kind of hang out for 20 minutes or so. We ate some fruit and some snacks, and then we eased back into casting range and started throwing again. When we made the change there at first, I was like, one of the colors that never fails me when we're fishing that type of bottom is throwing Beer Run. Beer Run, and I'll pull one of these out, is a very, well, actually, I have one right here. Huh, how handy, on the desk. Beer Run is a very translucent bait, frosty back, kind of looks like a foamy beer. But in the water, it is more challenging for the fish to see, so you can throw a little closer to them. Now, this water was clear, I mean super clear. So they're going to notice anything falling in on top of them, anything. Like if it's an opaque color, they're going to know something's there. But these translucent colors, like this one, work extremely well if I could get Mark close enough where we could make a super long cast and then creep this bait back into the zone where they're kind of just swarming around, because they were starting to get active during the solunar. The other thing that helped quite a bit, because we were throwing the jerk shad, is it's scented. But because elastic is that material that will be buoyant and float, I could have them throw it out there, and then it would just kind of creep into the zone a little bit at a time. And being that it matches that white sand bottom, and it's just got enough glitter to give it that scaly look, every once in a while we were able to pluck one of those really nice fish out of the group. Until the tide got full enough to move them back inside the creeks. But that particular color, those translucent colors, I'll give you another example what would be a good one, and it would be this color here, which is Opening Night. Opening Night, another color that is, for the most part, got that white frosty back, but it's got a translucent belly just like the Beer Run with a little bit of string glitter in it. That would have been another good choice if I had that in my BUZBE bag, but I did not. But I did have Beer Run, and Beer Run is one of those colors that I do gravitate to quite a bit. I know it sounds self-serving because it's got our logo on the package. It's one of the colors that we came up with, but we came up with that color just because a lot of us that fish in the Florida Keys, that fish here on the west coast of Florida, north of Tampa, we have that crystal clear water around everywhere from Pasco or North Pinellas all the way up into the Panhandle. There's a few zones where the rivers will stain the water up, but in a lot of those zones, the water is gin clear like the Keys. And then there's also some anglers out in Texas that fish the Laguna Madre that have the same scenario, and this color works very well for them too. But if you find yourself in a situation where the fish are really hard to catch, you're fishing snook on the beach, you're fishing redfish, especially big schools of redfish, where they're really tough to get to bite, I'm telling you, if you give Beer Run a try. Now, I have been trying to convince Z-Man for a long time that we need the Beer Run color in all the profiles, because I'd love to have it in some of the really small profiles as well. But it's important to me that we have it in the paddle tails and we have it in the jerk shads, because fluke baits and swim baits are what most of you have your greatest success with artificials. So I'm lucky to have them in those profiles, and I think you are too if you're experiencing some of the same success. So if you find yourself in these types of situations, especially since we're in that time of the year, still in winter here in February and moving into March, you start getting into this period of time, we don't have a lot of rainfall. The water is crystal clear. So it's important to have these translucent colors in your tackle bag. It is. All right. Tips like this, little examples, help you out, get you in a position where you're catching more fish. Give us that thumbs up, subscribe, share it with all your fishing buddies, share it with your fishing clubs. It's my job to make all of you better anglers, better inshore anglers. And we've got a lot more here at FlatsClass YouTube. We've got the Tidewater Diary series lives here. We've got some of our older episodes of FlatsClass TV that live here. And we do tons of product reviews on Yeti, on Power Pole, on Z-Man, on Shimano rods and reels. So if that kind of stuff really interests you, that type of content, you've come to the right place. All right, I'm off to make another video.